Invincible Shuangwen+Empress+Sweet pet, Qin Tian, worldly wealthy son, joined the Kunlun Sword Sect under the guidance of a fairy and became the Kunlun Junior Master. Awakening the Check.in system and obtaining mysterious techniques for opening Check.in. He originally intended to lie flat and sign in for cultivation, but was apprenticed by the ruthless Empress who was avoiding pursuit. There's no other way, the Empress will live a life from now on. Chapter 1. Empress who accepts her apprentices and Heartless Empress. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Outside the Kunlun Mountains. A stunning young girl dressed in a black long dress, with a tall figure and a light figure, swiftly swept through the jungle. Not far behind, several black-robed people were chasing closely. And Miaoling, the sect leader, is ready to make you a saint. Why did you run away? And Miaoling snorted coldly without paying attention. The master of the demon sect made her a saint simply because of her special physique and wanted to plant a demon seed on her. After planting the demon seed, he will become his cauldron and become his plaything from then on. How could she, as the reincarnated empress, not understand this kind of trick? Unexpectedly revived for a lifetime. No one or anything can stop her from becoming stronger. This life. She wants to cultivate the Tai Shang forget love record to the extreme before seeking revenge. From now on, cut off cause and effect, be alone, and only ask about the Tao. Speaking of revenge, her expression cooled down. That time she teamed up with 3 Imperial realm powerhouses to search for treasures, but didn't expect it to be a game. In order to kill her game. Within the Kunlun Mountains. Kunlun Sword Sect, Sangjin Peak. Today is the day when Kunlun Sword Sect recruits disciples. As the leader of Sangjin Peak, Qin Tian needs to go for a walk. He is the only one in Sangjin Peak, so he is not planning to recruit anyone, and no one is willing to join. Because in the eyes of outsiders, he is just a low-level cultivator in a spiritual realm. And he only wants to be a young man lying flat. The place where disciples are recruited is called Xianyuan Terrace. There are 10 seats on the Xianyuan Terrace, with 1 seat for each of the 9 peaks in Kunlun. Master, do not ask the heavens for a seat. After Qin Tian sat in his seat, he took out a book and leisurely read it. When Mo-Wentian saw Qin Tian's lazy appearance, he became angry. Look at you, either growing herbs or teasing fish and birds every day, all the good years are wasted. I really don't know how junior sister Jiang liked you back then. Master, calm down. As the only holy realm venerable of our sect for thousands of years, Sister Jiang naturally has her unique perspective. The speaker is Su Lan, the leader of Yujin Peak, who is good friends with Jiang Qingxue, the previous leader of Zangjin Peak. So for the sake of Jiang Qingxue's face, he would take care of Qin Tian a little. Su Lan didn't say it was okay, but when she said it, Mo-Wentian became even angrier. He has a unique perspective, do you think he's unique? Su Lan awkwardly smiled and said, maybe the timing hasn't arrived yet. Qin Tian smiled kindly at Su Lan and didn't pay much attention to Mo Xiangtian's words. 15 years ago, he was originally a wealthy son of the secular family. Jiang Qingxue was seriously injured while going out for training and happened to be hit by Qin Tian, who was playing around. Later, Qin Tian took her home for recuperation, which lasted for half a month. Before leaving, Jiang Qingxue, in order to repay him, brought him with extremely poor qualifications to practice at Sangjin Peak. Become the second disciple of Sangjin Peak. After arriving at Sangjin Peak, he surprisingly obtained the Check.in system. The first time he signed in, he obtained the supreme cultivation method, he transformed into the Great Dharma. Although his martial arts are powerful, his cultivation qualifications are really poor. He only signed in for the second time and received a reward, elevating himself to a double level through the transformation of the Great Dharma. After improving his martial arts skills, his realm also improved accordingly. This reward surprised him very much and gave him hope of becoming stronger. Later, He quietly checked in at Sangjin Peak and spent time with Jiang Qingxue day and night. But the good times didn't last long. 5 years later, Jiang Qingxue broke through the Holy Realm and soon left. It is said that she went to a mysterious place to practice. Before leaving, Qin Tian promised to go find her in the future. Jiang Qingxue smiled and left. Afterwards, he was the only one left at Zangjin Peak, and he naturally became the leader of Zangjin Peak. After years of attendance, Qin Tian elevated his transformation into the 9th level of the Great Dharma and achieved the semi-saint status. But he is not prepared to expose his realm. If his realm is exposed, there must be many people coming to pay respects to the mountain gate. It would be too troublesome to manage and teach disciples when the time comes. Isn't it fragrant to lie flat on it? At this moment it was also lively below. More than 100 people who participated in the sect trials gradually entered the sect of the Kunlun Sword Sect. After entering, they simply froze. Surrounded by spiritual energy within the sect, visible to the naked eye, immortal palaces stand majestically in all directions. There are still many disciples flying with swords in the air chatting and laughing, all of which seem like a fairyland. This is the sect they aspire to, and also one of the 3 major sects of the Eastern Orthodox way. Wow! Look, the one sitting in the middle is the leader Mo-Wentian, one of the 6 semi-saints in Dongzhou. And Su Lan, the leader of the Jade Sword Peak, is one of the 3 beauties of Dongzhou, exclaimed the Qingshan practitioner. The white-clothed tester said, "What you're saying is well known to everyone. But do you know that 10 years ago, the Kunlun Sword Sect was the top power in the East continent? And all of this is attributed to Jiang Qingxue, the peak owner of Zangjin Peak. She is the only holy land in Dongzhou and also the most beautiful woman in Dongzhou. The good times didn't last long, and she left shortly after breaking through." The Qingshan practitioner answered, "I have heard my father about this before, but now that Zangjin Peak is not working. It is said that the peak master of Zangjin Peak only has a spiritual realm, which is similar to ours. You should remember to use lightning protection." A group of people continued to gossip and wait for the start of the trial. At the entrance of the sect, Miaoling watched as the apprentices entered in an orderly manner, and she also followed in. The black-robed man who was tracking later saw Miaoling entering the Kunlun Sword Sect and could only temporarily give up. "Let's go back and report to the sect leader. This matter is not over." After Miaoling enters, the entry time is basically over. The bell rang, and Mo-Wentian slowly stood up to announce. Trial begins. The first item is qualification testing, which can eliminate at least half of the people. Someone keeps sighing and leaving Kunlun Sword Sect. When it was time for Miaoling's test, there was an uproar on the field. Even the lazy Qin Tian took an extra look. The temperature on the field decreased, and a phantom of an ice phoenix appeared faintly. This is actually the bloodline of the ice phoenix. Mo-Wentian looked shocked. Once this ancient bloodline awakens, the probability of entering the Holy Realm is very high. Who? Mo-Wentian forcefully suppressed his excited emotions and also had some thoughts in his heart. After the talent test, it's a martial arts test. In the martial arts competition trial, Miaoling easily won the first place with her previous life's cultivation and martial arts skills. After all the trials were over, the 9 peak masters stood up one by one and introduced themselves. Just when they introduced, they both intentionally or unintentionally looked at Miaoling. When Qin Tian introduced him, he stood up and said a simple sentence. Chapter 2. Emperor soldiers recognize the Lord, born with a vision. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I promise. Miss, why bother thinking about it? Some peak masters were unwilling and wanted to give it a try. I have made up my mind, she said and directly bowed to Qin Tian as a teacher. My disciple Miaoling has met my master. At this point, Qin Tian nodded and said, from now on, you will be my disciple. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving the best disciple. This woman is the reincarnation of the Empress, and we hope to cultivate her well reward. Increase all learned martial arts skills by 1 level. Reward. Supreme Sword Technique, Heart Sword Decision. Rewards. Premium Imperial Soldier, Ice Glass Sword. Upon hearing the voice in his mind, Qin Tian's eyes lit up and his martial arts skills improved once again. He has learned a lot of martial arts, including footwork, boxing, swordsmanship, and so on. He has made a lot of money from this promotion. I also began to calculate in my heart, taking time to practice my skills with the Monkey Demon Emperor. He has always been thinking about the monkey wine of the Monkey Demon Emperor. As for the Supreme Sword Technique, it is even more powerful because it surpasses the Imperial level. Qin Tian, who was in a good mood, said, "Let's go, disciple. Follow me to Cangjian Peak." And Miaoling nodded and followed behind. Before leaving, Mo Wentian instructed, "Don't mislead people. Many palaces in Cangjian Peak are uninhabited, so some are in ruins. The only place where people live is the Hidden Sword Pavilion." After arriving at the Cangjian Pavilion, Qin Tian said, "There are many rooms, please tidy up a room yourself and settle down. Come back to me after settling down." And Miaoling nodded and left, randomly choosing a room. The house is very dirty with a lot of dust inside. And Miaoling frowned with disdain, not expecting that the Empress of her generation would have to clean the house herself. After cleaning the room, she found Qin Tian and said, "Master, where can I get the spiritual medicine and pill?" Qin Tian looked at Miaoling's dirty little face and couldn't help but reach out to wipe it. And Miaoling was momentarily stunned, then retreated and looked at Qin Tian with a frosty expression on her face. "My heart is constantly full of waves." She, the decisive and unparalleled Empress, was completely touched and taken advantage of. In the past, other male cultivators didn't even have the courage to watch, let alone touch. Thinking of this, she was burning with anger and had a decision in her heart. That is to immediately chop off the hand that Qin Tian touched her after her cultivation is restored. "Your face is dirty, let me help you wipe it." "Why are you so excited?" Qin Tian was puzzled. "Humph." And Miaoling snorted coldly, not looking at him anymore. She was afraid she couldn't resist taking action now. After thinking for a moment, Qin Tian took out the top-quality Imperial Soldier Ice Glass Sword and said, "Surprisingly, you have worshipped me as your teacher. This sword will be used as a tribute to your teacher." And Miaoling said without even looking, "No. She doesn't think a spiritual realm can bring out anything good. You're welcome. You can take what the master gave you." After saying that, Qin Tian directly thrust his sword into her arms. And Miaoling picked up her sword and was about to throw it away, but found something was wrong. Then she used her divine sense to investigate, and after that, she froze. As a result, my breathing became rapid and my heart was shocked to the extreme. This is actually a top-notch Imperial soldier. Weapons, techniques, and elixirs are divided into 3 levels. Huan level, Xian level, D level, Tian level, Emperor level, and Supreme level. Each level is further divided into lower grade, middle grade, top grade, and top grade. In her previous life, she also had an Imperial weapon, but it was only inferior. The main purpose of the people who teamed up to kill her was also to seize her Imperial army. Faced with this treasure, no one is not tempted, and now this treasure is actually in their own hands. "You. Are you really giving it to me?" "Yeah, it's okay if you don't like it," he said before reaching out to retrieve it. And Miaoling quickly covered her sword and said, "I like it. Just like it." Qin Tian smiled gently. And Miaoling frowned and asked in confusion, "Why are you treating me so well?" "What and why? I just stopped talking. Is this a apprenticeship ceremony? Isn't it appropriate for the master to give the apprentice a apprenticeship gift?" Qin Tian replied. "Oh. And Miaoling responded with a complex expression. Qin Tian's behavior did indeed move her, even her heartless heart was shaken. In her previous life, she walked the world with one sword per person, cutting off all causality. Can we still achieve it in this lifetime? Under the impact of Jibao, she also felt a bit insecure. Then she remembered something again. How could you have emperor soldiers? Picked it up. Qin Tian casually replied. Did you pick it up? You lied to the child. And Miaoling looked incredulous. What's wrong with that? Qin Tian asked in reverse. And Miaoling hesitated to speak, but suddenly she felt the possibility again. Otherwise, in a spiritual realm, how could one obtain top-notch imperial weapons based on their abilities? Thinking of this, her heart slowly calmed down. He probably didn't know the value of this sword, that's why he gave it to himself. For the sake of this sword, she decided to forgive Qin Tian for touching her face before. After figuring out the truth, she immediately began to shed blood and acknowledge the master. Blood entered the back of the sword, and the sword emitted a colorful light, which then surged into the clouds, triggering a celestial anomaly. Qin Tian's expression changed and he quickly waved his hand, causing the vision to disappear. But it's already too late at this moment. Wentian Peak, Mo Wentian, who was practicing, instantly disappeared into his room. Several demon emperors and a mysterious sleeping existence deep in the wilderness mountains opened their eyes at the same time. The leader of the demon sect in the western regions of Dongzhou looked towards the direction of the Kunlun Sword Sect and muttered. It's a bit interesting. I'll go meet this Kunlun Sword Sect for a while after I leave the level. And Miaoling also took the next step and quickly retrieved the ice glass that had completed the recognition of the master from her body. Just as he withdrew, Mo Wentian came and said, Did you see anything? Qin Tian lazily replied, When you see something strange in the sky, there's nothing else. Mo Wentian was a bit skeptical and looked at Miaoling again. And Miaoling nodded repeatedly, agreeing with Qin Tian's statement. Later, Mo Wentian personally checked and found out before feeling at ease. This illusion appears in Kunlun. I'm afraid it's because Kunlun is in trouble. Be careful yourself. After speaking, Mo Wentian left with a gloomy expression on his face. And Miaoling also knew she had caused trouble and looked awkwardly at Qin Tian. In her previous life, she also claimed to have been a low-level Imperial soldier, but she didn't say that her vision would soar into the sky. At the same time, she was also somewhat surprised that Qin Tian could make the anomaly disappear. She felt that her master had become even more mysterious. Qin Tian smiled and said, I'm going to cook and eat. Because he was born into the secular world, he has a habit of eating. Kunlun 9 peaks, each peak has a locked demon tower, which houses some demon beasts for disciples to practice the art of resisting enemies. Only the locked demon pagoda of Cangjian Peak is different, as it is used to imprison some edible monsters. After Qin Tian walked into the locked demon tower, he glanced at 2 pig demon kings and 1 3-legged black chicken king. Finally, he caught the 3-legged crow king and murmured, We need to find time to replenish our inventory. After having meat, he went to the pharmacy to pick some ingredients such as spiritual leaves. After having enough ingredients, he went to the kitchen and started boiling soup and stir-frying dishes. After a busy time, 1 soup and 2 dishes were finally ready. Chapter 3. Refining the Demon Emperor Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Miaoling has come over for dinner. I've cleared the valley and won't eat, and Miaoling replied, continuing to practice swordsmanship. Eating is the rule of my hidden sword peak, it must be eaten, Qin Tian said seriously. And Miaoling reluctantly put away her sword and walked towards Qin Tian. There is 1 soup and 2 dishes on the table. The soup is 3-legged black chicken soup, followed by stir-fried linya and stir-fried millennium-old bamboo shoots. As soon as Miaoling sat down, she smelled the fragrance of the vegetables. Qin Tian smiled and said, The realm of cultivation can be divided into transcendence, agility, golden body, nirvana, creation, semi-saint, holy realm, and imperial realm. Each realm is further subdivided into 1, 2, and 3 levels. After finishing this meal, you should be able to break through to the golden body realm. Miaoling looked at the soup and dishes on the table and felt a bit skeptical. Qin Tian picked up a bowl, filled it with a bowl of broth, and handed it to Miaoling. Drinking some soup before meals is good for the digestive system. Miaoling was stunned for a moment. Isn't this a secular statement? In her previous life, she was born into the secular world, and her mother also said such things to her. But later on, her family fell apart and she suffered several hardships while escaping from her enemies. In the end, she cultivated a heartless Dao heart and achieved the title of Empress Dowager. She picked up the soup and took a sip. It was indeed very delicious, but when she swallowed it, she was completely stunned. Then she drank the soup in one gulp, finished the soup, and began to eat meat. After finishing her meal, she felt a huge energy rush into her body, and a faint golden light began to emanate from her body. Subsequently, the golden light gradually became stronger, and the spiritual power around her was quickly sucked into her body. For a long time, she successfully broke through to the golden realm. "What did you give me to eat?" Miaoling asked in surprise. "It's nothing, it's just chicken soup cooked by the 3-legged black chicken king." "Are you using the demon king to make soup?" Miaoling was shocked. "Did you catch this, or did the previous peak leader Jiang Qingxue catch it?" Jiang Qingxue caught it. Miaoling is a bit skeptical this time. Another thing is, a person who often eats the meat of the demon king, how could it be just a spiritual realm? Even an ordinary pig can be fed to nirvana. She increasingly felt that her master was extraordinary. Qin Tian smiled and said, "Who doesn't have a secret yet? I know you also have a secret." Upon hearing these words, Miaoling suddenly became nervous. Did he know that he was the reincarnation of the Empress? Looking at Miaoling's nervous expression, Qin Tian suddenly felt quite cute. So he reached out and rubbed Miaoling's head before leaving. "Before leaving," he said, "clean up the table." After Qin Tian walked away, Miaoling murmured softly, "You're taking advantage of me again, sooner or later you'll cut off your hand." After leaving, Qin Tian looked towards the direction of the wild mountains. He thought for a moment. Miaoling has now broken through to the golden body realm, and her physical strength is also sufficient. Then refine a demon emperor pill for her to awaken the bloodline of the ancient ice phoenix. Thinking of this, he set off for the wild mountains. "This time I'm going out, besides wanting to beg for some demon emperor blood, I'm also preparing to add some ingredients." After arriving at the wilderness mountains, he skillfully drove towards the depths of the mountains. "Damn human, why are you here again?" "I fought with you to catch my men," said the Qingping demon emperor angrily. The demon emperor is equivalent to a semi-holy human being, so he is full of pride. Qin Tian smiled awkwardly. "Today, he came to borrow 2 drops of demon emperor's essence from you." "I'll lend you." Qingping demon emperor cursed directly. "Surprisingly, if you don't borrow it, then I'll have to do it myself." As soon as the words fell, Qin Tian was ready to take action. His otherworldly transformation is the supreme secret technique. It can change all things, transform living beings, transform eternity, transform time, and transform the powerful of the world. Of course, he has only reached the realm of transforming creatures and spirits. Hualong. Qin Tian transformed into a phantom of a golden dragon, emitting immense dragon power. Feeling the shock of Long Wei, Qingping exclaimed, "What kind of martial arts technique are you?" "I have felt the power of the golden dragon, which is exactly the same." "Are you really a golden dragon?" Qin Tian did not answer. Ancestral Dragon Claw. The fierce claw of the golden dragon shadow directly flew Qingping away. His martial arts have all been upgraded through attendance rewards. After a successful strike, Tian chased after him and slapped him with his paw. The Chongming Demon Emperor was directly beaten and begged for mercy. Finally, willingly surrender one's essence and blood. Later, Tian fought with other demon emperors and demanded their essence and blood. For example, the Monkey Demon Emperor and the Dragon Emperor. Suddenly, the entire Beast Mountain range became lively. 2 days later, Tian returned to Zhangjin Peak. Miaoling stopped practicing swordsmanship and said, "Where are you going these 2 days?" From her tone, one could tell that she was somewhat dissatisfied and disappeared for 2 days without even saying a word. Although she knew that Tian was extraordinary, from the perspective of realm, he was a spiritual realm. So she is still a bit worried. Tian looked at Miaoling's fierce expression and couldn't help but touch her head. "Didn't you break through to the golden body realm, so I'm thinking of refining a pill to help you awaken your bloodline." "Really?" Miaoling was a bit skeptical. "There's still room for deception, I'll go refine it now." After that, he flew towards the alchemy hall. Miaoling also followed behind. The alchemy hall is dilapidated because it has not been inhabited for a long time. Pushing the door, it fell straight down. Tian smiled awkwardly. After entering inside, there was a dense web of spiders, and Tian directly used his spiritual power to extract the alchemy from the air. Then I washed by the river and brought it back to the Zhangjin pavilion. After all the preparations were ready, Tian took out a summary of alchemy and began reading it. "Do you still need to read a book?" Miaoling began to doubt whether Tian really knew how to refine pills. "Why don't I come?" She also learned how to refine pills in her previous life, and she can also refine ordinary pills. Tian put away his book and said with a smile, "This is my first time refining pills, so I need to consolidate it." Tian set the fire on fire, then took out several bottles and pulled out the lids. Suddenly, a powerful pressure struck. Miaoling looked at these blood essence in surprise, feeling very unusual. Subsequently, under the surprised gaze of Miaoling, Tian added precious medicinal herbs such as 5,000-year-old snow ginseng and 5,000-year-old earth lotus. The medicinal herbs of this year, even though she was honored as the empress in her previous life, were not much. Looking at Tian, who was refining pills, she felt her Tao heart once again passively shake. Is the road of desperate love avenue really right? At this moment, the alchemy furnace began to shake, and one demon emperor after another appeared in a phantom. The powerful pressure directly shook Miaoling and she took a few steps back. At this moment, her eyes were wide open, as if she had discovered something incredible. Chongming Demon Emperor, Jiaolong Emperor, Macaque Demon Emperor. She recognized these virtual shadows at once. The Demon Emperor is a figure equivalent to their leader Mo-Wentian, and can be said to be an invincible presence in Dongzhou. Her mind was full of questions: how can a spiritual realm obtain so much Demon Emperor essence and blood? Although she wanted to inquire immediately, she knew it was a critical moment. Don't disturb Tian's alchemy. Chapter 4. Awakening of Ancient Bloodlines. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tian's hands were like a phantom, constantly pinching and inputting spiritual powers. At the same time, he is using spiritual power to control the runes on the alchemy furnace. After an hour, the furnace stopped shaking. Tian waved his big hand and the furnace lid flew up, instantly overflowing with the fragrance of medicine. A 3-colored pill flew up. The elixir generates intelligence, and after shaking it in the air a few times, it wants to run out. But he was caught by Tian from afar. Miaoling on the side also recognized it as the top-notch Demon Emperor pill of the heavenly rank. Its greatest function is to wash the marrow and pulse, which can enhance a person's qualifications and realm. Even if taken as a semi-saint, it can greatly help break through the holy realm. Qin Tian handed over the pill and said, "I'll help you refine the medicinal power later." And Miaoling took the pill with a complex expression, and now she really needs it. From the moment I took the pill. Perhaps she didn't even know that she had already recognized Qin Tian. Where did you get the Demon Emperor's essence and blood from? And Miaoling couldn't help but ask. As for the spiritual medicine, it could be explained that it was given by the sect. But she doesn't believe that the sect has the strength to obtain these types of Demon Emperor essence and blood. There are several Demon Emperors who have a good relationship with me, and I will take care of what they want, Qin Tian replied casually. You're deceiving children again. And Miaoling is a bit speechless. Can she not know what kind of temperament the Demon Emperor has? She looked helplessly at Qin Tian and muttered to herself, sooner or later, I will expose you. The two of them arrived at the main hall and sat opposite each other on the cattail. And Miaoling swallowed the Demon Emperor pill and began to activate her spiritual power to refine it, awakening her bloodline. Because she is an ancient Ice Phoenix bloodline, when awakening begins, her body begins to cool. Along with it, the temperature around also became cold. Her body began to frost and her skin became increasingly fair. Qin Tian knew that this was the process of her bloodline becoming stronger. He raised his hand and delivered his spiritual power to Miaoling's body, helping her catalyze the medicinal power. 10 minutes passed like this, and suddenly Miaoling's face turned strange. The frost on the eyelashes began to fade, the snowy skin began to turn red, and the eyes became blurred. How could this be? Affected by this state, Miaoling was directly interrupted by the stimulation of her blood. Qin Tian quickly controlled his spiritual energy to activate it, otherwise Miaoling's awakening would inevitably fail. Miaoling also felt that her condition was not right, her whole body was hot and dry, and she couldn't control herself. At this moment, she remembered the dragon essence and blood in the Demon Emperor pill. Jiaolong has a lustful nature, and when it comes into contact with the Ice Phoenix bloodline, it is possible to stimulate this innate characteristic. Thinking through all this, she looked at Qin Tian with a resentful expression. She was wondering if Qin Tian did it intentionally. Before she could figure it out, her final rationality was swallowed up. She hugged Qin Tian and kissed him directly. Qin Tian was stunned. He wanted to stop Miaoling, but he couldn't. Because he is activating the blood vessels in Miaoling's body. Qin Tian's eyes widened as he looked at Miaoling's mischievous little face and those fair parts. This scene made him feel a bit restless inside. You offended me. Don't touch it, master. Ah. Forget about being a teacher, then suffer some losses. In the end, Qin Tian could only let her do whatever she wanted, because he couldn't stop. Stopping would lead to the failure of awakening. Half an hour later, a loud phoenix cry sounded, and a phantom of the ancient ice phoenix appeared above her body. Judging from the pressure of this phantom, one can tell that this bloodline is extraordinary. Ding! Host Apprentice, Awakened Emperor's Ancient Ice Phoenix Bloodline, Exceptional Talent, rewards host qualification to be increased to 6th grade, and sign-in reward to be increased by 50%. Is there such a good thing? Should I take in more apprentices? For Qin Tian, this reward can be described as a huge gain. For example, the reward for check.in is increased by 50%. The check.in reward can be stacked, and in the past, he only received the reward once a few months or even a year. The result will also be better. By increasing the reward by 50% this time, it is equivalent to his level improvement speed being much faster. In addition to rewards for improving one's level, other rewards will also increase. As for the qualification upgrade to 6th grade, it is still good. You should know that at the beginning, he only had a 2nd level qualification, and generally speaking, a 3rd level qualification was required to join the Kunlun Sword Sect. So he also came in through the back door. The cultivation qualifications are divided into 1st grade to 9th grade, above 9th grade, holy grade, Imperial grade. The 6th grade is equivalent to an elite disciple of a sect. However, compared to the disciples personally passed down by the peak leader, there is still some gap within the sect leader's disciples. That's also why he only wanted to lie flat before. 2nd grade qualification, self-cultivation has little effect. It's better to lie flat and sign in, waiting for the sign in reward. At this moment, a Miaoling, who had successfully awakened her bloodline, entered a mysterious state. The realm has also begun to break through. Golden Body Realm Double. Triple Golden Body Realm. The realm of Nirvana is once again heavy. Ding! Congratulations to the host disciple for breaking through the realm. The reward for the host's qualification has been increased to 7th grade, and the sign in reward has been increased by 10%. Qin Tian was overjoyed that as long as he continued to cultivate his disciples, he could also become a peerless genius. And Miaoling also achieved great success, breaking through 3 times in a row, with one of them breaking through the great realm. If this matter is to be spread, it will definitely shock the world. However, this is mainly due to the immense medicinal power of the Demon Emperor pill. After all, it was refined from the essence and blood of several demon emperors, combined with precious spiritual medicines. After breaking through, and Miaoling found herself still hanging on Qin Tian's body. Ah! She screamed and retreated in succession. At this moment, she remembered what she had been shy about earlier, and her small face turned red. In her previous life, as an empress, she was pure and majestic, and had never shown any intimate behavior with a man. And now, she feels shy even thinking about it. Ahem. This is your initiative. As a teacher, you can sit still and remain calm. In the future, you should pay attention to the differences between master and disciple, Qin Tian said solemnly without blushing or jumping. Humph. And Miaoling snorted coldly and left without any joy of awakening her ancient bloodline and breaking through the realm. Just as I left, and Miaoling ran into Mo-Wentian. Mo-Wentian also felt an illusion and came only after hearing the sound of Chongming. Are you awakening the ancient Ice Phoenix bloodline? Mo-Wentian said excitedly. Because Miaoling had just finished awakening and his breath was unstable, he immediately felt the scent of the ancient Ice Phoenix. And Miaoling nodded in response. After receiving confirmation, Mo-Wentian's happy expression on his face could not be completely concealed. Great, this is the capital of the Holy Realm. I'm going to create a second Holy Realm in Kunlun. At this moment, elders from other peaks also rushed over. Heaven bless me in Kunlun. In the near future, Kunlun will once again become the top power in the east. Just awaken your bloodline, are you? Qin Tian muttered softly from behind. Upon hearing this, Mo-Wentian's angry eyes swept over. Stinky kid, what do you know, the ancient Ice Phoenix bloodline, as long as they don't fall and break through to the Holy Realm, it will be a matter of time. Forget it, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense to you in this spiritual realm. At this moment, the peak owner of Yulei Peak, Lei Ba, took the opportunity to say, Master, I don't think we can let Miaoling stay at Sangjin Peak anymore. This kind of arrogance cannot be delayed by Qin Tian. As soon as this sentence was spoken, all other peak leaders except Su Lan nodded frequently. Upon hearing these words, Miaoling's expression turned cold. Not everyone is qualified to say that I am the master of the Empress of Despair. My master is very good, and it is precisely because of him that I am able to awaken so quickly. Because of him. Lei Ba looked disdainful and said, what can he do to help you with just his spiritual realm? And Miaoling's expression turned cold. If you're talking like this, Sangjin Peak doesn't welcome you. Chapter 5. Supreme Martial Arts, Heart Sword Technique. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lei Ba's face turned ugly, but he couldn't do anything about Miaoling. Because from this moment on, Miaoling is the hope of the sect. In the end, he could only look at Mo-Wentian. Mo-Wentian also had a headache. Why was Qin Tian infatuated? Is appearance really that important? At this moment, a shout came. Master, it's not good. There are many demon tribes rushing towards Kunlun. Mo-Wentian's expression changed upon hearing this. It must be a celestial anomaly that caught the attention of the demon race before. So they sent demons to lurk nearby and happened to notice a Miaoling awakening her ancient bloodline. Her ancient bloodline is no less precious to demon beasts than a rare treasure. Because after they devour, they can enhance their own bloodline. Let's go take a look. After speaking, Mo-Wentian flew towards the mountain gate with his group of peak masters. There are more and more demon tribes outside the sect gate. Mo-Wentian has just arrived at the sect gate not long ago. I saw a 2-meter-tall white tiger rushing towards me. What is the purpose of the white tiger demon emperor's visit to Kunlun Sword Sect? Ha ha ha. If you want to be witty, hand over the awakened bloodline. Otherwise, don't blame me for bloodwashing your Kunlun Sword Sect, threatened the white tiger demon emperor. Jokes. With you. Destroy my Kunlun Sword Sect. Mo-Wentian looked disdainful. The white tiger demon emperor is a semi-holy double, on the same level as him, so he is not afraid at all. I'm not enough alone, but what about adding the Chongming demon emperor? It will come in 5 minutes, you still have 5 minutes to consider. Upon hearing that there was another demon emperor, Mo-Wentian's expression became solemn. Tian, take a Miaoling and hide for a while. Hey! Where are the people? Just now he saw Tian right behind him, can't he see again? Mo-Wentian looked at a Miaoling not far away again and said, where's your master? I don't know. She also just realized that her master may not be good. Unexpectedly able to disappear silently beside Mo-Wentian and himself. She was lost in thought. 10 miles outside the sect gate, the Chongming demon emperor is running towards the Kunlun Sword Sect with his 4 major demon kings. Suddenly, he came to a sudden stop. Because he saw a boy sitting on a tree reading a book ahead. Why are you in such a hurry? Tian asked lightly. The Chongming demon emperor looked at Tian with a worried expression and said, I have something important to attend to. See you again next time. After speaking, he tried to bypass from the side. But as soon as he walked around, Tian blocked in front of him again. This road is blocked, go back. Do you know what I'm doing? Are you a member of the Kunlun Sword Sect? Asked the Chongming demon emperor. Congratulations, you got it right. Looking at Tian's harmless smile, he shuddered and said, since you're bothering me so much. After speaking, he walked back with the 4 demon kings. Wait a minute. The Chongming demon emperor trembled and turned to look at Tian with a wary expression on his face. Don't worry, I don't need your essence for now. I just have a connection with this beetle king, so he will be with me in the future. After speaking, he waved his hand and directly captured the heavenly ox king. You, Chongming's face turned red and white. Finally, he could only suppress his anger and said, let's go back. After speaking, he flew away with the remaining 3 demon kings. Tian also rushed to Zhangjian Peak with the heavenly ox king, murmuring, it's been a long time since I ate beef. Upon hearing these words, the banned heavenly ox demon king in his hand was so frightened that tears welled up in his eyes. Isn't wolf and bear meat fragrant? Why eat beef? After returning to Zhangjian Peak, he slaughtered the tianyo and cut a leg of the cow to start cooking. At the entrance of the sect, the 2 sides have been deadlocked for half an hour. The white tiger demon emperor finally confirmed that he had been set up as a pigeon. It is impossible to defeat the Kunlun Sword Sect with the power of a demon, so he can only give up. You wait, I'll return it. After speaking, he ran away with the people. As soon as a Miaoling returned to Zhangjian Peak, she smelled the fragrance of vegetables. Master, what delicious food are you making again? She is very excited about the food Tian cooks now, because the ingredients are mostly Demon King meat and Millennium Elixir. Today I'm making beef pot, Qin Tian replied. Beef. And Miaoling walked over and said, isn't the Lock Demon Tower without cow demons? A friend just arrived, I asked him for it. Friend. And Miaoling immediately remembered the incident where the Qinping Demon Emperor had not come before. Surprisingly, if the master wants to pretend, let him go. Then the two of them started eating, and after finishing Qin Tian, they were ready to go back to the room and lie down. But he was grabbed by a Miaoling before taking 2 steps. In the future, you will accompany me to cultivate. As a master, you should lead by example. I don't want to hear Lei Ba and his team say that about you. I feel very embarrassed like this. Speaking so, she actually wanted to understand Qin Tian's true strength while practicing. Practice, practice. Being a teacher is as powerful as not practicing. How powerful is it? Qin Tian thought for a moment and said, there shouldn't be anyone within the sect who can beat me. So you admit that you are a semi-saint? And Miao asked. You're saying it. He continued walking into the room. After returning to the room, he took out the Supreme Sword Technique, Heart Sword Technique, and began to learn. 1 month later, he reached the 7th level and understood the meaning of the sword. To achieve this level, he actually cheated. He transformed into a great Dharma and could be transformed into a person with a realm similar to his own. So he transformed himself into the leader of Tianjian Peak. A person who already possesses the sword spirit can quickly cultivate. At the same time, he also realized that his qualifications were not very good. However, now Miaoling is only in the realm of nirvana, and as long as she continues to break through, there is still a lot of room for improvement in her own qualifications. In the courtyard, Miaoling is practicing martial arts with a cold expression on her face. There has been less communication these days, and Miaoling is wholeheartedly cultivating his path of ruthlessness. So his temperament became cold again. Qin Tian walked over and asked, what martial arts do you practice? And Miaoling put away her sword and said indifferently, the Great Forgotten Record. This is an Imperial level technique. If the master needs it, I can pass it on to you. Qin Tian frowned and said, read it to me. And Miaoling nodded and said, gather the 5 elements to know how to overcome life, observe the fate of heaven and forget emotions. Just after hearing a few words, Qin Tian stopped. What kind of bad technique is this, forgetting emotions? If one truly cuts off the 7 emotions and 6 desires, and becomes a person without emotions, then does practicing Taoism still have meaning? Does living still have meaning? After 2 consecutive questions, Miaoling was stunned. Recently, I have been spending time with Qin Tian day and night, and Qin Tian has shown her love and care. There is also the selflessness of Qin Tian's top-notch Imperial soldiers and Demon Emperor pills. These emotions are all impacting her heart. Aren't you fond of practicing swordsmanship? I have a heart sword technique, which should be better than your too upset to forget love record. After speaking, Qin Tian handed over the heart sword technique. Chapter 6 Cultivation Methods Above the Imperial Realm. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. And Miaoling took the heart sword technique and looked at it. At first glance, she was deeply attracted. Gradually, her hands trembled slightly. Is this a technique that can be cultivated above the Imperial realm? She had an incredulous expression on her face. Breaking through the Imperial realm was something she had dreamed of in her previous life. She just didn't have a chance to peek through the door until she died. What level of cultivation is this? And Miaoling asked. In the Supreme Realm, I have practiced this technique a bit and it is still very good. As for your record of forgetting emotions too much, don't practice anymore in the future, Qin Tian said seriously. And Miaoling nodded forcefully. With this technique, who would have gone to practice too much? In fact, she was also aware that in her previous life, she had already reached the extreme of cultivating the Tai Shang forget emotion record. This road has basically reached its end. It's just her self-deception to break through the Imperial realm with the record of forgetting emotions. Then she looked at Qin Tian and her gaze softened. In the future, she no longer needs to be afraid that Qin Tian's kindness to her will affect her Dao Xian. Qin Tian touched in Miaoling's head again. But this time she didn't have much resistance. Let's practice swordsmanship. Qin Tian is preparing to pass on his insights from these days to her. In this way, she can also learn the heart sword technique earlier. Later, Qin Tian slowly said, the sword's momentum is excellent, but its meaning is difficult to cultivate. The sword's momentum is nothing but external, imitating the natural momentum of heaven and earth and applying it to the sword. The sword's meaning is a sword that is sublimated by facing one's true heart and understanding one's nature. And Miaoling is currently at the level of sword power. Just as Qin Tian was teaching swordsmanship, Mo Wentian's personal disciple Yan Qingxi arrived. Originally, Mo Wentian was planning to send cultivation resources to Miaoling on his own. But when Yan Qingxi found out, she took over the matter. Because she hasn't seen the handsome junior uncle for a long time. After arriving at Sangjin Peak, she saw Qin Tian teaching swords and did not disturb, but curiously listened. At first, she was a bit skeptical, but when she heard it later, she was shocked. Because Qin Tian's swordsmanship has already touched her. She felt the bottleneck of her sword move loosen. And Miaoling also fully understood, and the seeds of sword intent began to sprout. Qin Tian continued, the meaning of the sword is an extension of its origin, which belongs only to the sword. The nobility of the sword, the coldness and arrogance of the sword, the sharpness of the sword, the original intention of the sword. Boom! And Miaoling was suddenly awakened, and she realized. Qin Tian nodded in satisfaction, not wasting his month of study. After realizing the meaning of the sword, she will also practice the heart sword technique much faster. At this moment, Qin Tian looked at Yan Qingxi beside him and asked, "What's up?" Yan Qingxi finally came back to her senses and said happily, "Uncle Zhao's guidance is like a sudden enlightenment. I'm getting more and more fond of. And I admire little master uncle. By the way, this time my master sent me to deliver pills to my junior sister." After speaking, she took out 10 bottles from the space ring and handed them to Miaoling. Miaoling opened it and took a look. It was all top-notch and top-notch spiritual medicines on the ground level. In addition, there is a 9 divine marrow washing pill from the heavenly rank. It is made by refining 9 spiritual medicines that have been around for over 3,000 years. These pills look a bit red at Yan Qingxi. But she also knew that she couldn't compare to Miaoling, who awakened the bloodline of the ancient ice phoenix. After the pill was delivered, she bid farewell to Qin Tian because she had realized that she needed to go to seclusion. Before leaving, she even blinked at Qin Tian, expressing her admiration. Miaoling frowned as she watched. The next morning, Qin Tian was soundly asleep. But was awakened by a knock on the door. "Master, you're up." "No, I still need to sleep for a while, Master." "Master, wake up and teach me how to practice." She tasted the sweetness yesterday. Besides, she didn't want to see Qin Tian continue to be abandoned. The path of cultivation requires perseverance and accumulation over time. Although the master is very skilled, if he continues to neglect like this, he will either advance or retreat. A practitioner has a higher cultivation level and a longer lifespan. She wanted to be with her master in the future, so she decided to urge Qin Tian to practice. Touch, touch. If you don't get up, I'll knock together. At this moment, the door suddenly opened and Qin Tian appeared at the door wearing a pair of shorts. Miaoling blushed and quickly woke up her eyes. "Master, you're playing hooligans." "How did I play a rogue?" "You only called me playing a rogue when you woke up last time." If it weren't for my teacher being a righteous gentleman, She felt shy when she heard Qin Tian mention the last incident. Did you mean it last time? And Miaoling gritted her teeth and said. How could I be a teacher intentionally? There is dragon blood in the pill. When dragon blood encounters a blood vessel like mine, it will produce some reactions. Don't you know? And Miaoling said. This may be due to my teacher's negligence. Alright, I'll go with you to practice. After speaking, she followed Miaoling to the small courtyard to practice. His transformation into the Dharma is currently in the process of transforming all spirits. But what he yearns for more is to transform into eternity. Hua Wangu is an imperial law that can influence time, space, and causality. To the extreme of cultivation, one can travel through time and space, and can also use causality to confront enemies. Causing the enemy to be plagued by misfortune, and even becoming demonic. As long as you are not beyond the realm of the emperor, you are within the cause and effect. But now he cannot use it, but he believes that with a system in place, he will eventually reach the realm of immortality. Time flies like a shuttle. 10 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Sign in. Ding. You have accumulated 6 years of check.in value. Do you want to receive a reward? Claim. Sign in reward. The technique of transforming oneself into others has been upgraded to the 11th level, and the host realm has been upgraded to the 3rd level of the semi-holy realm. Sign in reward. Time and space order, recommended for your disciple to use. In times of crisis, you can summon your spiritual body to help through the time and space law. Sign in reward. Eternal immortal body 1 weight. After receiving the reward, Qin Tian felt a powerful energy surge into his body, and in addition, his understanding of the Tao became deeper and deeper. 6 years ago, he signed in and broke through to the 2nd level of the semi-holy realm. This is the 3rd time, and the next time we break through, it will be the holy realm. Time and space make this reward quite good, although now Miaoling has reached the triple realm of nirvana. But if she were to leave the sect, there would still be many powerful individuals who could pose a threat to her. But with this temporal and spatial order, it's different. When encountering invincible people, she can summon Qin Tian's spiritual body to help. Another thing is the immortal body, which is a supreme cultivation technique. Normally, to reach the 1st level of cultivation, 10 5,000-year-old spiritual medicines are needed. In addition, it requires some painful training to become successful. For example, using extreme methods such as thunder calamity, Yin Sha wind, and purgatory fire to exorcise the body, and then using spiritual medicine to repair and nourish it. This cultivation process not only consumes a large amount of cultivation resources, but also endures endless pain. So he is also very lucky to be able to practice directly. Now he has the ability to compete even in the face of the holy realm. After the breakthrough, Qin Tian was in a good mood and went to the Lock Demon Tower to pick up some ingredients to cook. When he finished cooking, a full moon had already hung high in the sky. Chapter 7. Penglai Baishan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Tian arrived at Miaoling's room and directly pushed the door in. Miaoling, the master has made a delicious meal. Come and have some late-night snacks. As soon as he finished speaking, he was stunned because at that moment, Miaoling was taking a shower. Her jade-like shoulders are as white and greasy as snow, and her rosy face is particularly charming. The most important thing is the perfectly proportioned delicate body. In an instant, he felt a slight fever in his nasal cavity. Master, you came in without knocking, and Miaoling complained. Master, I'm not in a hurry to shout for you to eat. Hurry up and get dressed. I made a big table of delicious food for my teacher. Today, let's have a drink. Get out. Qin Tian stepped back a few steps and stood at the door. Close the door, and Miaoling said. I won't sneak a peek, hurry up, the food will be cold later. I'm not buying it. After speaking, and Miaoling extended her jade hand and waved it, and the door closed. Qin Tian let out a faint sigh and said, "What about the stubbornness between people?" After the door closed, and Miaoling began to dress. Which one is good to wear? Choosing and choosing, she saw a red obscene robe that Qin Tian had given her not long ago. So she put it on and looked in the mirror, revealing her arms and thighs. Humph. I knew my master was an inexperienced person, so I couldn't give him a discount. After speaking, she found a large scarf to put on, covering her shoulders and half of her thighs. After putting on her clothes, she walked to the restaurant, smelling the aroma of the food, and her appetite immediately came up. Qin Tian doesn't cook every day either, it all depends on her mood or her specific requirements. Otherwise, sometimes we only cook one meal a month. She hasn't eaten for a while, so she's still quite greedy. After Miaoling took a few bites, Qin Tian took out a pot of monkey wine and filled the 2 cups. This thing, the macaque demon emperor hid it too secretly. I finally found a pot. And Miaoling smiled and said, "This demon emperor is also unlucky to meet you. This type of monkey wine not only requires more than 5,000 years of spirit fruit, but also requires the macaque family to brew for up to 10 years. Being a teacher is not about taking it for oneself, it's about taking it to help you break through as soon as possible." Upon hearing Qin Tian's words, Miaoling was slightly moved. So she picked up her wine glass and touched Qin Tian, and went straight to work. After drinking, a powerful and pure spiritual power dispersed within her body, while also refining her physical body. Not long after, her aura grew stronger again. Qin Tian also picked up his wine glass and took a sip, saying, "Drinking like this has no soul. You need to savor it carefully. Fine taste. Don't you want me to get drunk?" And Miaoling casually put down the scarf that covered her shoulders. Her fair skin and sexy collarbone were exposed. Qin Tian's eyes widened and he said, "You're right, this wine is just a cup of dry wine." After speaking, Qin Tian went straight to work. And Miaoling pulled a scarf and stood up, saying, "You can taste it yourself. I'll go to bed." After she finished speaking, she left quietly. Looking at Miaoling's back, Qin Tian murmured, "There is a girl next door who has just grown up. This little girl is becoming more and more charming." The next day, a few people arrived at the entrance of the sect. An old man and 2 men and 1 woman, 3 young people. One of the young people shouted loudly, "Penglai Elder Lingya Association disciples are coming to worship the mountain." In the depths of the sect, Mo frowned. At this time, coming to worship the mountain must be ill-intentioned. Is it because of the secret realm? Soon, Lingya and others were led to the main hall of the sect. "I wonder why Brother Leng came this time?" Mo asked. "I heard that Kunlun has the Tianjiao who awakens the ancient bloodline, so I brought my disciple to see it." At this moment, a young man beside the cold cliff also walked out and humbly said, "The younger Penglai disciple Baishan has met Master Mo." Some disciples below also began to discuss. So this is one of the 3 major sects of the righteous path, the head disciple of the Penglai sect leader, Baishan. Not only that, he is also the leader of the young generation's 3 greatest pride. Well, it's really excellent, but its appearance is still a bit inferior to that of little martial uncle. Mo nodded and praised, "It is indeed a rare pride. However, the girl in Miaoling has been in seclusion recently, so it's not convenient to see anyone." Mo directly cut off their thoughts. After all, this is the ancient Ice Phoenix bloodline, and there should be no loss. Lingya and Baishan's faces changed when they heard the words. They had originally planned to propose to Mary and Miaoling after meeting. "I can't even see anyone now. Master Mo, younger Baishan would like to spar with the younger generation in Kunlun. Would it be convenient?" As soon as these words were spoken, the main hall became lively. "This guy from the bedroom is here to cause trouble, isn't he?" "Yeah, it's troublesome now. It seems that the younger generation of our sect is no better than him. Mo1-10's expression did not change, but he had already started cursing in his heart. This is clearly to bully people. But now, I have already been put up. If you refuse in front of everyone's eyes, that would be too embarrassing, so he can only agree. Young people can learn from each other and make progress, he said before passing on the message to his disciple Yan Qingxi. Yan Qingxi has recently gained some insights and may have a chance to defeat Bai Xiaohua. Qin Tian, who was far away from Cangjin Peak, seemed to feel it and looked towards the direction of the main hall of the sect. What's wrong, master? And Miaoling looked at Qin Tian's expression changing and asked. There is a semi-saint who brought people into the sect, I'm afraid it's going to cause trouble. Oh. And Miaoling responded, not very interested, and continued practicing swordsmanship. In the main hall, Bai Xiaohua walked up to the middle and said, which senior brother is willing to come and teach me? If you win, I'll give you a top quality pill on the Earth level. Earth level premium pill. Many people showed greedy gazes. But in the end, no one went up. They were not stupid and knew the difference between their confidants and Bai Xiaohua. Bai Xiaohua looked around and said, the people he was targeting instinctively took a step back. Why, isn't there anyone who dares to join the Kunlun Sword Sect? Bai Xiaohua confidently said, after all, he had the support of this semi-saint, Cold Cliff. Upon hearing this, all Kunlun disciples were angered. I'll meet you soon. A burly man walked in from the entrance of the main hall. Please teach Xian Lei, the eldest disciple of Yulei Peak. As soon as Xian Lei's words fell, discussions resumed around him. Senior brother Xian Lei unexpectedly came. I heard that his Thunder Strike has a particularly strong attacking ability. Maybe there's a chance. I am from Yulei Feng. I heard that the Peak Master has passed on the Heavenly Thunder technique to him. The Heavenly Thunder technique will definitely defeat Bai Xiaohua. Hope. After all, that's Bai Xiaohua. Seeing someone coming, Bai Xiaohua joked, you're still a man, not like them. Chapter 8. Battle against Penglai's first apprentice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing the sarcastic tone in Bai Xiaohua's words, almost all of his disciples became angry. Mo1-10 also silently sighed. If we don't defeat Bai Xiaohua, the shame is small. I'm afraid the confidence of the younger generation in Kunlun will be undermined. Take the call. Xian Lei let out a loud shout and quickly pinched the formula with both hands. The thunder-inducing technique. A thunderbolt struck Bai Xiaohua's head. Boom. Bai Xiaohua easily dodged, and the thunderbolt struck the ground, creating a pit. At this point, everyone also discovered that Bai Xiaohua's true realm was actually the triple realm of Nirvana. And Xian Lei only has the dual realm of Nirvana. There is a gap between the two, so his technique is difficult to hit. But Xian Lei doesn't want to give up on this. Lead lightning into the body. Arcs surged towards Xian Lei's body around him. At this moment, Xian Lei's aura was constantly changing, but his face was indeed extremely ugly. Bai Xiaohua did not stop, and a hint of mockery appeared at the corner of his mouth. Slowly, Xian Lei's expression twisted, as if he was enduring immense pain. Xianer, that's enough. When absorbing, your body will cross, Feng Zhu Lei Ba anxiously reminded. Xian Lei ignored it and gritted his teeth to continue absorbing. After 3 breaths, his realm has finally been forcibly elevated to the triple realm of Nirvana. But this is only temporary. After the power of lightning dissipates, his realm will regress to the level of Nirvana. This is the aftermath of the secret method of inducing lightning into the body. Surprisingly, you're doing well, so I'll take action. After speaking, a sword appeared in his hand, emitting the ultimate sword power. Heavenly level intermediate martial arts skill, one sword can conquer mountains and rivers. Shoo! A sword shot out with great power. Boom! Although Lei Xian tried his best to resist, he was still beheaded. It smashed towards the wall behind it and slowly fell to the ground, spewing out a mouthful of blood. There was an uproar at the scene, and they didn't expect that Bai Xiaohua had become a mid-level martial arts practitioner. On the ground, the thunder and lightning inside Lei Xian's body quickly dissipated, and his realm became unstable. Nirvana Realm double. Nirvana Realm once again. Due to being severely injured, there is actually a trend of continuing to fall. Lei Ba quickly stepped forward and took out a top-grade pill at the prefecture level, and stuffed it into his mouth to stabilize it. After stabilizing his injury, he wanted to challenge Bai Xiaohua. But Bai Xiaohua said first. "Senior Lei, I'm sorry. I didn't expect that he couldn't stop a single move." This sentence immediately blocked the words behind Lei Ba. What can he say? The other party did indeed use only one move. At that moment, Yan Qingxi slowly walked in. Everyone's eyes lit up when they saw Yan Qingxi. Miss Yan is becoming more and more beautiful. I heard that senior sister Yan Qingxi has already touched the level of sword intent. I see how arrogant Bai Xiaohua can be. The arrival of Yanqing's silk seems to be a stimulant. She walked up to Mo Wentian and respectfully shouted, "Master." Mo Wentian nodded slightly and said seriously, "Don't be careless." "Yes." Then Yan Qingxi carefully glanced at Bai Xiaohua. She is a sword cultivator who is about to break through the sword spirit, so she is very sensitive to the sword spirit. At this moment, she felt danger on Bai Xiaohua. "Master, for safety's sake, let's also call Sister An." Yan Qingxi whispered to Mo Wentian. "What's the use of calling her? She's much younger than you guys." Mo Wentian couldn't understand. If in a few more years, the younger generation will stand out. But now I'm afraid it's almost too hot. Yan Qingxi continued, "Master, you don't know anything. 10 years ago, when I was delivering elixirs to Zhang Jianfeng for my master, I saw junior uncle teaching Sister An swordsmanship. At that time, I felt the sword intent on Sister An, and it was through this that I gained insight, which is why I was able to glimpse the threshold of the sword intent. After settling for a year, I have the confidence to fully understand the meaning of the sword." Mo Wentian's face finally showed a hint of shock. "Qin Tianjiao's swordsmanship, and Miaoling understands the meaning of the sword, are you sure?" "Sure." Yan Qingxi spoke with a serious expression on her face. "I always feel that this kid is very strange. It turns out he's hiding something." Thinking of this, he began to relay messages to Qin Tian. After understanding the meaning of the sword, even the Nirvana realm can fight against the creation realm. After receiving the message, Qin Tian called for Miaoling to go to the main hall of the sect together. He still needs to maintain the reputation of the sect. In the main hall. After Yan Qingxi finished speaking, she walked forward to prepare for a competition with Bai Xiaohua. Bai Xiaohua didn't rush to start, but spoke up. "You are the senior sister of Kunlun, right? Surprisingly, you have already taken it all. Why don't we make a bet? The Xiaoyao secret realm is about to open. There are 3 spots in each of our 3 sects, so let's take out one spot to make a bet. As long as anyone in Kunlun can defeat me, I will give you my spot. On the contrary, if you lose, you will lose me one spot." Yan Qingxi looked at Mo Wentian and sought an answer. Mo Wentian nodded. Bai Xiaohua's words also confirmed his previous speculation. They are indeed here for the quota of the carefree secret realm. After obtaining Mo Tianwen's consent, Yan Qingxi said. "I agree, if I lose my spot to you, and vice versa." Just as they were about to start fighting, Qin Tian came within Miaoling. Upon seeing the arrival of the young master, Yan Qingxi instantly showed a look of infatuation. Her female disciples also couldn't move their eyes. And Bai Xiaohua was deeply attracted by Miaoling's beauty. "I've seen so many beautiful women growing up, but I've never seen someone so elegant before. He is certain that he fell in love at first sight. At the same time, he secretly decided to confess to Miaoling after winning the competition. Seeing Bai Xiaohua's greedy gaze, Qin Tian felt somewhat displeased. What are you standing there for? You need to compete quickly. Bai Xiaohua frowned and looked at Qin Tian. He looked up and down. Young people, spiritual realm. Are these types of goods training me? If it were outside, he would have slapped him to death long ago. Bai Xiaohua suppressed his anger and said, Who are you? You're so uncivilized. You're not cultured, and Miaoling and Yan Qingxi said in unison. This is my master. This is my junior uncle. Two women stood up at the same time to defend Qin Tian. Bai Xiaohua was momentarily stunned, then remembered the rumors he had heard before. Kunlun has a useless junior uncle, it seems to be the person in front of him. The two women who are so protective of this young martial uncle must have been confused by his masculinity. I want to save them. I want them to know that strength is the king in the world of cultivators. Thinking of this, he once again challenged Yan Qingxi. Yan Qingxi also wants to show off in front of little master, so she is ready to give it her all. On the side, Qin Tian said to Miaoling, I'll beat him up hard later. Both of them were practicing swordsmanship, and after the sword was fully opened, the sword light in the field kept flickering. The sword's momentum has also been unleashed to the extreme, just one step away from the sword's intention. Both of them possess the triple realm of nirvana, and both possess heavenly-level martial arts skills. So there was a momentary stalemate. Bai Xiaohua knew that if he continued to hide his clumsiness, he would be sentenced to a draw in this martial arts competition. When the quota runs out, beautiful women won't look at themselves with admiration. You're really good, it's worth my real strength. As soon as these words were spoken, someone among the onlookers spoke up and said, who wouldn't know how to talk big. You should show it to me. As soon as the words fell, they were slapped in the face, and a loud sword sound echoed throughout the room. Bai Xiaohua directly exerted his sword intent, and Yan Qingxi's sword power was instantly shattered. The scene was silent, and almost all Kunlun disciples showed expressions of disappointment. Chapter 9. The Meaning of Dacheng Sword. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Bai Xiaohua raised the corner of his mouth slightly and slashed it with a sword, causing a sudden gust of wind on the ground. Heavenly level top-notch sword technique, wind sword. A visible wind blade, containing a raging sword intent, attacked Yan Qingxi. Yan Qingxi's face changed and she used her strongest move, the top-notch sword technique of the heavenly rank. Sword dance in the sky. Boom. Under the collision, the towering sword shadows of Yan Qingxi instantly disintegrated. At the same time, she took a dozen or so steps back in a row, with a hint of blood oozing from the corners of her mouth. Is this the power of sword intent? How else can we fight? Exclaimed the onlookers. Mo-Wentian knew that it was meaningless to let Yan Qingxi continue the battle. Qingxi, give up. Mo-Wentian advised. No, I want to give it a try. The persistence of Yan Qingxi made Mo-Wentian feel a bit confused. Finally, he followed Yan Qingxi's gaze and looked at Qin Tian. What a misfortune for a man's appearance, it's fate. You give up quickly, don't you even listen to your master's words. Mo-Wentian continued to advise. He knew that if he continued, Yan Qingxi would definitely be seriously injured. Yan Qingxi remained unmoved. Bai Xiaohua sneered and then swung his sword away. Yan Qingxi was once again repelled. You're quite backbone, don't blame me for being so ruthless. As the words fell, he used the sword intent again. Wind sword. Another wind blade with a sword-like intent strikes. Boom. She was directly swung out, leaving a sword mark on her arm. Qin Tian couldn't bear to watch, so he jumped up and caught Yan Qingxi. The two of them slowly descended. Wow. You're so handsome. If I get hurt, would the junior martial uncle also hug me? Said the female disciple enviously on the side. At this moment, Yan Qingxi in Qin Tian's arms had already blushed with embarrassment. Qin Tian took out a top-notch elixir from the earth steps and stuffed it into her mouth, stabilizing her injuries in just one fell swoop. The wound is also slowly healing. Stinky kid, how long do you have to hold it? Mo-Wentian felt a little unhappy when he saw his own little cabbage being held by Qin Tian. Upon hearing Mo-Wentian's words, Yan Qingxi quickly ran out of Qin Tianhui. Qin Tian looked at Miaoling and said calmly, "Go ahead. I have to go back and feed the fish to solve him." Miaoling walked forward amidst the surprised gazes of the crowd. In their impression, although Miaoling is a peerless genius, but they have only been in the industry for about 10 years, and their age is 7 or 8 years younger than theirs. So they are not very optimistic about Miaoling. She ignored everyone's gaze and slowly raised her delicate jade hand. A sword appeared out of thin air and flew directly towards Bai Xiaohua. Under the control of Miaoling, the ice-glass sword continuously slashed towards Bai Xiaohua like a shadow. After a breath, Bai Xiaohua had 3 sword marks on his body and lay limp on the ground. He lifted his head hard and trembled as he said, Dacheng Jian, how? How could it be? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone focused their attention on Miaoling. Let's go, master. Qin Tian nodded and left with Miaoling. Ha ha ha. Mo-Wentian burst into laughter. It seems that among the younger generation, Zhong Miaoling stands out alone. Cold Cliff looked at Miaoling's back and a faint evil smile flashed through. Then he helped Bai Xiaohua up and began to heal his injuries. After Bai Xiaohua's injury improved, Cold Cliff took out a token and threw it to Mo-Wentian. This spot belongs to you now, he said and left with the person. After returning to Cangjian Peak, Miaoling smiled and said, how does it feel to hold senior sister Yan? It doesn't feel as good as you do. What? After feeding the fish, Qin Tian prepared a meal to eat. Let Miaoling go to the medicine garden to pick some spiritual melons, which are inside the bamboo shoots. By the way, replenish the energy of the spiritual formation in the field. After a while, Miaoling returned with the ingredients, but there was also a Mo-Wentian following behind. As soon as Mo-Wentian arrived, he couldn't help but say, it's useless to do these things every day. Let her help you with your work, she is our hope in Kunlun. Before Qin Tian could say anything, Miaoling frowned. I'm willing, and besides, the rice cooked by the master is very delicious. Miaoling has started to defend Qin Tian again, and there is nothing Mo-Wentian can do about it. Then he took out a token and handed it to Miaoling, saying, in 3 days, the carefree secret realm will begin, with many opportunities inside. For example, elixirs, treasures, etc. It was opened at a great cost by our 3 sects. It has 2 limitations. One is that only people below the state of nirvana can enter. If people above nirvana enter the secret realm, the entrance will automatically close. Secondly, the channel we opened can only accommodate 9 people. So I hope you can go there then. Miaoling took the token and looked at Qin Tian. Qin Tian nodded. You haven't gone out in the sect for many years. If you want to go out for a walk, you can do it. Then I'll go. Mo-Wentian was overjoyed upon hearing these words. With the combat power of Miaoling in the realm of creation, there will definitely be great gains. And with her, the safety of others is also guaranteed. Because when encountering treasures, it is inevitable that people from other sects will have bad intentions. In addition, there are also monsters inside. After Mo-Wentian left, Qin Tian took out the time and space token and handed it to Miaoling. When encountering danger, urge this. Miaoling took the time and space order and put it away. What treasure Qin Tian has given her now, she doesn't even feel it. Because Qin Tian had already brought her enough surprise, she became accustomed to it. After a busy period of work, the food was ready. The two of them sat down and ate warmly. Compared to her previous life of being carefree and alone, she prefers the present days. Because there is a master. This master is good everywhere, but a bit astringent. I often take some leaps and bounds, and after doing so, I can still turn things around seriously. Make her unable to laugh or cry. 3 days later, and Miaoling bid farewell to Qin Tian. Before leaving, Qin Tian took the opportunity to hug her and said, "Please take care, my disciple. If there is any danger, use the time and space command." And Miaoling is also a bit reluctant, after all, she hasn't left her master for 10 years. Leaving suddenly was a bit uncomfortable, but the thought of not going out for a long time made me feel relieved. And Miaoling arrived at the main hall of the sect. Inside the main hall, there were still Yan Qingxi, Xian Lei, and a disciple of Su Lan from Yujian Peak, by Anan. After gathering, Su Lan led the team to rush towards the Xiaoyao secret realm. Qin Tian felt a bit bored alone at Sangjian Peak. "I am ready to go down the mountain and go home to take a look." During his more than 20 years in the sect, he would go home every 2 to 3 years to take a look. Both parents at home are practitioners, but their cultivation level is not high. After leaving the sect, he headed south all the way. Arrived at the capital of Chongming, Chongming City. His family lives in a large mansion in the north of the city. When he arrived at his own Qin mansion, he found himself unable to enter. Upon closer inspection, it turned out that the formation had been set up by someone. After tinkering for a while, he finally broke through and entered. After entering, he found that there was no one, which made him feel uneasy. After circling around, I finally found a letter in his father's study. The general content of the letter is that your mother and I went out to play, don't read it. In addition, I left him a villain who looked exactly like his father. Qin Tian picked up the little man and walked out. After coming out, he fell into contemplation. This formation seems to be possible only in the Holy Realm. Why did it appear in my house? It seems that I will only ask when I see my parents next time. After leaving the house, he would wander around aimlessly. Unconsciously, he wandered into the city where the martial arts examination was taking place. Practitioners can not only join sects for cultivation, but also officials or royalty. However, relatively speaking, the high-end combat power of the Kunlun Sword Sect is stronger. After all, it has a long history of inheritance. Chapter 10. Princess Chongming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The place where the martial arts competition takes place is called Jinwutai, and the venue is very large. There are also many people watching around. There are ordinary cultivators, as well as palace nobles on the stands. Of note to Qin Tian, there was only a woman in the middle of the stands with a white veil covering her face. This woman is in a state of nirvana, with an extraordinary temperament. She is dressed in a white dress and has a curvaceous figure, making her a rare beauty. It was rare to have a lively time, so he decided to take a look. So he took out a set of tables and chairs from the storage ring and sat down in an open space. Not long after, Qin Tian was noticed by some women who were watching. Who is that person? He's so handsome, isn't he? Yeah, I don't know if he's interested in someone. Even the woman Ming Yilian in the middle of the stands couldn't help but take a few more glances at Qin Tian. As Princess Chongming, she has seen many handsome people. But it's the first time I've seen someone so handsome. Qin Tian paid no attention to all of this and brewed himself a cup of tea. Suddenly, the aroma of tea was rampant. Is this Wudao tea? That's right, this is Wudao tea. The value of Wudao tea is comparable to that of earth-level spiritual medicine. This young man is not ordinary. A group of cultivators gathered around, watching Qin Tian discuss. Qin Tian picked up the tea, took a sip, and continued to watch the martial arts competition. Many beautiful women also approached, but were all rejected by Tian. After reading for a while and feeling bored, he got up and prepared to leave. At this moment, a group of black-robed people rushed towards the stands. Escort, protect the princess. A group of soldiers wearing golden armor and stomachs quickly blocked in front of Mingyilian. Tian looked over and showed a hint of disgust. The black-robed man is a member of the demon sect. The demon sect acted decisively and ruthlessly, without human nature, so Tian did not like it. At first glance, it was a member of the demon sect, and the onlookers were frightened and scattered to flee. The people of the demon sect cannot be provoked, nor do they want to be provoked. After the crowd dispersed, only Tian stood there alone in the field. At this point, the battle between the two sides has already begun. The demon sect clearly came prepared, with an elder leading the way in creating a dual realm. On the other hand, the strongest on Mingyilian's side is only the captain of the Nirvana realm Triple Guard. Mingyilian watched as the guards kept dying, even the captain was injured. She couldn't help feeling anxious in her heart. She has Qinghuan blood in her body, but once captured by the demon sect, the consequences can be imagined. So she secretly decided that even if she died, the demon sect would not succeed. Just when she was in despair, she saw Tian not far away. Now, apart from the two sides, there is only one person in the field, Tian. He saw Tian's face, very calm and composed, indicating that he had something to rely on. So she instinctively ran towards Tian, wanting to grab this life-saving straw. The demon sect in the rear has also caught up. Young master, I am Mingyilian, princess of Chongming kingdom. I hope you can help me, there must be a generous reward. After speaking, she looked at Tian with an expectant expression on her face. Tian smiled and didn't speak, but looked at the disciple of the demon sect behind her. Kid, you're quite bold. As soon as the words of the disciples of the demon sect were finished, Tian waved his hand. Pop. The disciples of the demon sect who were speaking flew backwards, their faces blurred with blood and flesh. Seeing this scene, Mingyilian showed a happy expression. But the elder of the demon sect had a solemn expression on his face. The person in front of me seems to only have a spiritual realm. But he was able to slap and defeat a demon disciple in the realm of Nirvana. If something goes wrong, there must be a demon. This young man is not simple. Little brother, I hope to save face when dealing with matters in the demon sect. I will leave now. The voice of the elder of the demon sect came from afar. What if I don't give it? Tian said lightly. The elder of the demon sect's face changed for a moment, and finally he angrily said, if I don't give it to you, I'll die. It was said that the whole person turned into a black mist and rushed towards Tian. Ancestral Dragon Claw. Boom. Tian did not transform into a dragon, so he slapped it directly and the elder of the demon sect was thrown into the air. Zulong ascends to heaven. A golden fist, from bottom to top, directly killed the elder of the demon sect in the air. Suddenly, everyone looked at Tian in surprise. So young and so powerful. You should be an experienced senior with skills. After the death of the elder of the demon sect, the group of demons had no heads, so they dispersed and fled. Mingyilian saw the crisis resolved and gratefully said to Tian, thank you very much, young master, for saving your life. You can come back to the palace with me, and my father will definitely repay you well. I'm not available. Tian shook his head and turned to leave. Because he suddenly received a system task. Save Qingqiu Emperor Ji. Emperor Ji was chased and killed on the Two Realms mountain. Signing a master-servant contract with her is the completion of the mission. It's quite strange that the system actually released a task, so he's going to take a look. On the other side. And Miaoling and a few others also smoothly entered the Xiaoyao secret realm. The secret realm is opened every 20 years, and it is said that many Tianjiao will die every time the secret realm is opened, so everyone should be careful. Yan Qingxi, as the senior sister, reminded her. What are you afraid of? With sister and around, Xianlei smiled. Since Miaoling defeated by Xiaohua and found a place for the sect, he began to worship Miaoling. Be careful, that's right. And Miaoling said and began exploring the secret realm. Deep in the secret realm, within the heavenly demon palace. Cold Cliff is leading a group of black-robed people from the demon sect, respectfully speaking to a soul body. Palace Master, one of the people who entered the secret realm this time is someone who awakened the ancient Ice Phoenix bloodline. Seriously? It's absolutely true, I've met this woman before as the Grand Elder of Penglai. In addition, she also understood the meaning of Dacheng sword. Ha ha ha. After so many years, we finally have a suitable physical body for our palace. Please find a way to lure her over. The soul that speaks is Muihan, the lord of Zhongzhou Tianma Palace. Tianma Palace was also a first-class sect in Zhongzhou back then. Later, due to offending the ruthless empress, many high-level officials were killed. And this Heartless Empress is in Miaoling before her reincarnation and rebirth later, the heavenly demon palace was taken advantage of by hostile forces, and they were almost wiped out. In that battle, her physical body was also destroyed, leaving only her soul to escape. Later, she fled to Dongzhou with a group of remnants. Finally, she hid in this secret realm. Because this secret realm has limitations, those above the Nirvana realm cannot enter. Even if they enter through special means, they will still be excluded. But as a soul, she is not disturbed. And her remaining subordinates established the demon sect and began to develop. Of course, there are also powerful individuals like Cold Cliff who lurk among other sections. Lenya replied, I have already released the treasure map, she should come. It's really not possible. Even if I pay the price and lift the ban, I will still forcibly bring her over. Muihan nodded in satisfaction. For so many years, you have also worked hard, attracting so many talented cultivators to devour me. Otherwise, my soul would have been unstable long ago. After I obtain my physical body, I will surely unify the East Continent, and your benefits will be indispensable at that time. Cold Cliff is overjoyed. Thank you for your trust, Palace Master. I will go out and see the situation first. On the other side. And Miaoling and others arrived at a dense forest. The trees in the forest are all very huge, so the line of sight is very poor. In the process of moving forward, they also picked many millennium-old elixirs. Basically, everyone has gained something. But the good times didn't last long. Suddenly, fog arose in the dense forest, and a group of monsters rushed out. Many of them were from the Nirvana realm, and Miaoling chased and killed a triple demon beast from the Nirvana realm. When she beheaded the monster by the sword, she found that she had dispersed with Yan Qingxi and the others. At this moment, she noticed something glowing inside the monster's body.